Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
Chicago to your speakers.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, or even if you just want to share your thoughts on a topic or something going on, shoot us a quick tape, 219-413-9405, and of course, we'll play it back on our next episode. And then shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code TheRunPodcast. Now, this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website, so go ahead, create that account, and go treat yourself to a concert or a sports game or something like that, Anyway, so to start off, man, we got the offseason in the NFL. The combine and all just happened, and we're not going to talk much about the combine, but there is some other news that's happened in the NFL, which is huge, actually. So the Washington Commanders have traded a 5th-round pick to the 49ers for wide receiver Deebo Samuel. This was a crazy move here. And if you will, I would say blockbuster, but I don't really think anybody got burned by this deal. Now, initially, a lot of people may say, oh, only a 5th-round pick? Damn, that's all it took to get Deebo Samuel? I really think that the time is changing in the NFL before our eyes, where we're seeing a lot more emphasis on draft picks. Like, clearly, the NFL teams are really, really valuing draft picks. I mean, we've seen multiple guys get traded for picks during the course of the season. Devontae Adams was one of them. We've seen Marshawn Lattimore. He was one of the guys who got traded for some draft picks. There was Tre'Davious White got traded for some draft picks. Amari Cooper. Like, this is becoming a trend in the NFL where guys are just getting traded for draft picks. So that's the memo. That's all the memo I need is, hey, if you could have been in the NFL multiple years, but now it seems like draft picks are becoming the value in the NFL. And then also, too, for the 49ers, this isn't a bad deal. Like, I understand, they lost Deebo Samuel. This is a guy who helped them get to multiple Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowls since he's been there and was drafted in 2019. I understand that. But also, it's going to help the 49ers because it benefits them in the cap space. And they don't have to worry about paying Deebo Samuel next year because the reality of the situation is, this dude has been injured a lot, and I wouldn't really want to pay a guy who's already injured and getting up there in age. He's almost going to be 30. So it's like, I don't want to pay him a tremendous amount. And on top of that, he's aging. He can't stay healthy. So, getting a 5th-round pick for that, you can do a couple options. We know they want to tighten up some pieces on the defense. Now you can look to add another receiver. There was even some rumors about Brandon Ayuk probably even leaving the 49ers. So maybe you do use that 5th-round pick for something special. But on top of all of that, you get the 5th round, but you still have your 1st-round pick, which is the 9th pick in the draft. And that's a huge plus for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, statistically, Deebo Samuel did not have a bad year. I know he was hurt. He didn't finish all the games. I think, above all, he did actually play 15 games, but he just did not finish the games out that he played. But one of the things I'm looking at here is he had just about the same amount of receptions as the past few years, 51 receiving yards. He had 81 targets, caught 51 of the passes. And then also, too, the total yardage was 670 yards, which is less than last year, but also more than the year that the 49ers went to the Super Bowl. So you can't really pick apart anything of like, oh, well, his play is on a steady decline or anything like that. No, the only thing is, I mean, he's aging. That's it. He's almost 30. And other than that, like, you know, it's a good fit with the Commanders because now you send him over to the Commanders and he gets a chance to revive himself. So if he does come back and get a big payday, this is huge for him because now, okay, you got Cliff Kingsbury as your coach. You got a great quarterback. You're also not going to be the number one receiving option there because they got Scary Terry. But now you can go in that offense and still show that you're valuable. So however Cliff Kingsbury is going to use Deebo Samuel, it can be in a good way. And I doubt that Cliff Kingsbury struggles finding some uses for a guy like Deebo Samuel. If he really does have something left in the tank, then I doubt it shouldn't be a problem introducing him to the offense and getting him well acclimated. But again, for the 49ers, not a bad deal at all, man. 29, when you look at the last few injuries that he's had, chest rib strain, calf strain, pulled hamstring, shoulder fracture, and this is just going back to 2 years. So I don't know what's to come for him. I hope he can stay healthy because obviously we know how much of a threat he is when he's healthy. But this pickup here for the Commanders, it's huge. And it's saying that now, to me, above all, the bigger picture here is that draft picks are becoming more valuable in the NFL with all of these different teams. Because you got to remember, too, when they traded for Marshawn Lattimore, they gave away draft picks. Commanders are loaded on some draft picks, and they've been giving them out, trying to bring in some skill guys. And the only thing here is, are you going to bring in the right skill guys? Because you got Marshawn Lattimore, and he's kind of on the back end too, late 20s, early 30s maybe. He's on the back end of his career as well. Now you got Deebo Samuel there as well. But it could be a good blend for bringing in that veteran presence, which is good. Of course, teaching the young guys something who's going to be around. But above all, I don't think anybody got burned by this deal here. For the 49ers and Commanders. Commanders, they already had an outstanding season from last year, going all the way to the conference championship game, which was just wild. Nobody in their right mind imagined them doing that, but yet they still did it. So, 49ers struggled last year. Injuries was a big thing. Brandon Ayuk went down. Christian McCaffrey went down. Deebo Samuel went down. George Kittle was down for a minute. They really got ruined by injuries last year for the 49ers. And, you know, you almost wonder if they're going to try and revamp the whole entire offense from a talent perspective, considering now that they're going to possibly try and trade Brandon Ayuk, who's a big-time receiver, just got a payday and all of that stuff. But maybe they go the draft route. Maybe they try and rebuild through the draft, save some money, pay for a couple free agents, and who knows. But above all, I don't think it's a bad move. Deebo Samuel, wish him the best of luck over there. And 49ers fans, it might be, you know, a little sad, like, damn, we got rid of Deebo Samuel only for a 5th-round pick. Yeah, you possibly could have got more, but the last thing you want to do is overpay for a guy when he's on the back end of his career. You definitely don't want to do that. And if you keep Deebo Samuel at this point, that's what you end up doing for the 49ers, is he finishes out next season and he's going to be looking at the front office like, okay, are y'all going to pay me or what? And then now it becomes a mess. It becomes like, damn, 49ers is cheap. They didn't want to pay for the talent they had. And let Deebo Samuel have another great season. Let him do something. Let the 49ers have a great season. You don't want to break that team up. So I think they're just getting ahead of the curve, which is cool. I don't think they're done at all, especially since Brandon Ayuk is in the mix. Christian McCaffrey is going to be an interesting piece. I feel like that will be the final chess piece to say, like, all right, 49ers officially going to rebuild through the draft. If they get rid of Christian McCaffrey, then it's like, all right, now it's official that they're trying to rebuild through the draft. But he's also had some injuries too. He struggled all last year trying to come back and getting re-injured and all of that stuff. So I don't know, man. We'll see, but it'll be interesting. Of course, go ahead, share your take, 219-413-9405, and we'll play it back on the next episode. But we got some news coming up. Don't go anywhere. More NFL stuff, because although Deebo Samuel got traded, he's not the only one that's going to be finding a new team here. A couple other teams is in the mix for it. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. It's halftime.